Chris Rock is performing a stand-up gig tonight in Boston, his first appearance since the Oscars. If you were Chris, what would be the first joke you'd tell, assuming you'd want to acknowledge Will Smith's slap? Now before we start, does anyone here have a wife with a medical condition that I need to be aware of? Lol, watch this be Chris Rock who made this post and you just made him a couple more million indirectly. Alternatively, what if he came up with a lot of this on his own already and now has to go back to the drawing board to avoid getting called out on joke stealing from Reddit? So how many of you got your tickets in the last 3 days? Scalpers working overtime. So, one of the problems with doing stand-up is you sometimes have to deal with hecklers. Let me tell you about the second worst heckler I ever got. I like this one. Lol. Side note, as a former stand-up, hecklers were not too much of a problem. We are good at improv and have prefabricated routines we can use against hecklers. Comedians like Rock are on an entirely differently level and can instantly torch hecklers. You can see how badly Rock wanted to do that after the slap, but he kept it professional. Oh, I could. My eyebrows went up when he said that. I was like, oh, do it, lay this man low right here at the Oscars. Just one August joke and Will would have had to climb up out of a crater. I immediately thought he was going to say, keep other men out your wife's mouth. But he did the right thing instead. I honestly wonder what Will's reaction would have been at that. Does he charge the stage? Fascinating premise for a season 2 episode of What If? Seeing as how furious Will already was, I think he would have started a real big drama fight. So, I guess you've all heard that Guy Jane 2 probably isn't happening. This is my favorite. And he says it in a super bummed out tone like that's his only real concern. And calls her Mrs. Will Smith to respect the wish not to use her name. Well, after my busy schedule of producing Will's biggest hit in years, I was able to make it here tonight. Entering the stage wearing a neck support. Getting wheeled on stage in a wheelchair would be hilarious. With a braced and elevated leg. Lead by a seeing eye dog. A completely hairless dog. I'd be like, y'all are never gonna guess what happened to me the other day. Keep dancing around it. I had a hell of a week, let me tell you. I had to pick up my tux from the dry cleaners for the Oscars. Tell some cliché story about dry cleaners messing something up. After that, I arrived at the show and had what some might call an altercation. Everyone knows that I don't like arbitrary food or beverage, and those sobs put that in there. I knew that this was going to be a bad night. Tell a few more harmless anecdotes leading up to the slap, then skip right over it and thank the audience. Bill Burr did something similar on his Monday morning podcast, talked about how one of the most iconic and memorable events in pop culture history happened at the Oscars. Something he never thought in a million years he would see. A drummer turned director won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature, and he went on and on about how Questlove did such a great job on his doc and deserved to win the Oscar. Then at the very end he was like, also, it'd pay $1 million to see Chris Rock's next show, laughed his ass off, and moved on to the next topic. Shit, Questlove won an Oscar? Yup. Best Documentary. It was the award that Rock was presenting when the whole kerfuffle went down. He gave a moving acceptance speech and was pretty emotional about this win. I'm so mad that his win is being overshadowed by Slapgate. Someone said he should get a helmet and a neck support. I think this would have been the first part of the joke, and then he should have said, I brought this because my next joke is about Shaquille O'Neal's wife. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thank you so much for the awards. Or wear shin guards and say my next joke is about Kevin Hart's wife. You think you're tired of Kevin Hart short jokes, then some glorious bastard like you comes along, lol, that was good. I think deep down low Kevin loves these jokes. They really lift him up. Publicly thank Will Smith for all the extra ticket sales. This. Almost like the humor isn't in a joke at their expense but in acknowledging how crazy it's been. And then I'd like to personally thank Will and she will shall not be named for the boost in popularity. I ain't been this popular since. Well damn, ever. Looks like everybody loves Chris now. She whose name is out of my duckin' mouth. I'd love if he just kept referring to her this way, lol. To get started, are there any insecure couples in the front row? Okay, I'ma need y'all to move to the back. Not you, Rosa Parks, you cool. You know how you can tell that slap wasn't staged? Well, didn't make the studio give Jada a role. Come out wearing a helmet and with 2 bodyguards by his side. Yep, just walk on stage with a full face crash helmet on, tinted visor down. Get to middle of stage, stop, flip the visor up and look around at the audience as if trying to pick someone out. Maybe using those little theater binoculars. Those binoculars would sell it for me. Gotta make extra sure. Pause on one person, keep staring at them for about 5 seconds. Sharply pull the binoculars away. Tap the bodyguard, point into the crowd. One bodyguard storms off stage. Sorry, I just gotta get ahead of these things now, you know? I feel like a joke about Will Smith would just be cheating at this point, but I guess that's never bothered him before. Will would literally fly out to Boston just to slap his ass for that one lamau. Watch him be in attendance for Chris's performance today, lol. Will just keeps following him around to different shows and slapping him at each one, like a Duck and Stooges act. I'm gonna open with some alopecia jokes. And then 2 huge bodyguards walk out and stand on either side of him. Bodyguards come out to Here Come the Men in Black. Lamau, this would be hilarious. You know what I heard about Jada Pinkett Smith? Long pause, as he looks nervously around the room. Not a damn thing. There are ones that are funnier than this, but this one has the best ratio of funny to well-crafted taste. The best part about it is that it feels like something Chris Rock would actually say. So, I fired one of my joke writers Monday. If I knew Will was gonna get so mad about my making fun of his wife, I would have asked one of her boyfriends for permission first. Stealing this from somewhere else, but in the same vein, I have to give Will props, he's a better man than me. I'd never defend someone else's girl like that. Chris in these comments taking notes. Unless Chris is op lol. Wouldn't he still be in the comments taking notes? Good point. I was at the Comedy Cellar, which based on the timing must have been one of the first times Michelle Wolf performed after the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She said something like, Michelle, and I never thought I'd say this, but you probably know me from Fox News. I saw Aziz Ansari at the Comedy Cellar during his sexual assault allegations. His jokes would start out on a serious note, referring to it like, listen, I know I gotta work on myself, or the last few months have had a lot of hard lessons for me, etc., and then go into a completely different story but with the same tones. Then at the very end he gave a little more emotion and expressed gratitude for us giving him a chance to perform BC he wasn't performing at the moment. It was a great set. He really deserved the award for Best Actor, because after watching the movie Ali, I thought he actually knew how to throw a punch. I was gonna say something about Will and Jada, but decided to wait until August. Comes a minor adjustment. So what's the August part reference? I'm out of the loop. The friend of their kid that Jada had an affair with. Some 23-year-old rapper that the Smith family was mentoring, or something like that. Apparently she discussed it in detail on her Facebook show. RTT? That's got to make things awkward for their kid. Suddenly those Call of Duty conversations won't be so funny for him. I ducked your mom. Yeah, you did.